The other day I went to the dentist for a checkup because I hadn't gone in 2.5 years, since I'm a blindingly white neckbeard and am not that health conscious. But it went surprisingly well despite how long it had been. I sat down, the hygienist asked me how I was doing, how's work going, how big's my dick, just standard stuff. But in conversation before my teeth cleaning, she brought up something kind of weird. She'd gone to the doctor's office and, that huge laundry list of questions that they ask you, like if you're doing a physical or whatever now, that they for some reason have to record digitally for the government. I don't fucking know. But when she saw her doctor last, he had gone through that list of questions, and toward the end, one of the questions asked if she had any guns in her home. Now, barring the issue of mental health, which I'll talk about later on, that sounds kind of odd for a doctor to ask of all people. She was kind of taken aback by the question and declined to answer. Even her doctor was embarrassed that they'd asked that, which implies that the gun question was in fact one of the canned Q&A things that doctors are now required to record. Now, I haven't been able to corroborate her story with anyone else's, so I don't know for a fact that doctors are required to ask that question. But if that's the case, it makes me wonder why doctors are required to ask that in the first place. At the very least, it's an unnecessarily disturbing topic of discussion. Now, as I alluded earlier, I feel it'd be completely within the grounds of discussion for a mental health professional to ask that of a patient, if the therapist or psychologist reasonably felt that self-harm or violent tendencies were a concern in the patient. But this clearly wasn't the case in my hygienist story. This doctor was her primary physician for years, and the question had never been asked until that appointment. Now, people with whom I've discussed this incident, my hygienist included, feel this is a gross invasion of their privacy, and some feel it's only a grab at people's guns, as though the government's encroaching on legal gun owners. Now, I'm about to voice an opinion that may piss off a few people who end up watching this video, so just a fair warning on that. And to those who might not share my opinion, I'm going to preface it with the following statement. I like guns. I grew up around them, my family owns several firearms, and I see no problem with law-abiding citizens using them for sport or as collector's items. That opinion also ought to be evident from the fucking CSGO footage I have rolling right now. I'm perfectly fine with using and seeing firearms. It's not triggering to me or anything. Triggered. However, if this question is some kind of measure to curb gun violence in the US, I feel it's both inadequate and misguided. Now, something absolutely needs to be done against gun violence in the US. I mean, if you're watching this video and you live in another country, I'm here to say what we've experienced throughout ours is deplorable. It's sickening, and I want to continue to have my right to use a firearm for recreation. However, I feel this census-style, non-compulsory collection of data by a general practitioner isn't going to be helping matters. I feel more needs to be done to get help to people who would be at risk for committing crimes with a gun. Mental health professionals are always there to help, but we also need to stop stigmatizing mental health issues and realize that it's okay to need help with your brain sometimes, and people who would be at risk for these kind of crimes particularly need to know this. Frankly, more rigorous screening by retailers who sell guns is also in order. Yes, that's the part of my opinion that will get people up in arms, probably, but honestly, another bit of paperwork to fill out is more than worth the welfare of others. In closing, none of the measures I just mentioned involve your doctor, who would be more likely looking at your ball sack than your brain. So regardless of how commonplace asking a patient whether or not they have guns in their home has become, I feel it's not an appropriate question for the doctor's office. I feel it's far more appropriate to avoid generalizing gun ownership and look at the person instead of their possessions. Thank you for hearing my opinion if you made it this far in the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, because I sincerely want to start a dialogue with you all. I know this kind of subject matter is more serious than the drivel I've been discussing before, but if you're looking for that, don't fret. I haven't gone full-blown leafy clone yet, which I'm kind of concerned now that it'll end up happening. Someone send help. But I'll be back to our regularly scheduled memes pretty soon. I've also got the second episode of Hall of Salt in the works right now. That will be coming out the first Monday of next month, and I'm hoping to keep that going every month at that frequency. So be sure to check that out, and I'll see you guys next time.